Okay, so in order to understand stress, we need to take a look at what happens inside our brain. The human body and the brain, especially, is a very complex matter. So I will stick here to the basics and give you a very simple overview just to give you the right insights that I would like to share. So, when we look at the brain, you see two important parts. First of all, you see the middle part, which is the stress brain. The stress brain doesn't really exist, but it's a combination of different parts in your brain. And in the frontal part of your brain, you have the prefrontal cortex. So stress starts in your stress brain, and it goes. It is fired out towards your adrenal in the lower part of your back, and it is in the adrenal that your stress hormones are created. The stress hormones, such as adrenaline and cortisol, are being created so that your body is able to activate itself and is ready towards facing a stressor. And at that point, your body will become ready to fight, flight, or freeze. Those are very basic and very fast reactions of your stress brain, often not very well thought through, but we need them in order to survive. We can ask our prehistoric ancestors. They know that when they are facing a dangerous animal, they had to act immediately. Otherwise, we would not be alive anymore today. So at the other parts, in the frontal part of our brain, luckily, we have the prefrontal cortex. Because that part of our brain, you can also call it the cockpit of our brain, because from there out, we manage everything inside of our brain. And it is this part that makes sure that we can see nuances in situations, put things in perspective, learn from previous experiences. We can coordinate activities in order to come to a solution, and at the same time, very important, also keep our emotions under control. So, normally, both regions, the prefrontal cortex and the stress brain, are working very closely and very well together. And the cooperation of both makes sure that we can reach our goals or even go beyond our goals. We need a good balance between both regions. And to have a good balance, on one side we have our stress hormones. Of course, to make the balance, we also need hormones that make sure that we recover after activating and facing the stressor. So I will, in this slide, call it our recovery hormones that are also being created, but only at moments that we are in period of rest. So I will explain better by showing how a healthy stress response look like. A healthy stress response is acute and is very short. So when we face a stressor, our body becomes ready to face it. We have an activation of our adrenaline and cortisol. But after facing the acute period, we go back to a period of rest. And it is only when we allow ourselves to have this period of rest that our recovery hormones are doing their job and at the same time are created in order to be able to face a future problem. So this system is built to keep on going and going. It can continue on and on. In fact, as long as our body is facing a stressor, it will keep on going. And it is only when the stressor disappears that this system will stop. So when we look at this picture, you see that a lot of stressors are following each other. So if you face one stressor after the other, you can immediately see what the problem is. You do not allow yourself, you do not allow your body to come again to a period of rest. So you don't have the ability anymore to create any recovery hormones anymore. So here we have a problem. And this is what we call the unhealthy stress. Because here there is a disbalance between the stress hormones and the recovery hormones. And if this disbalance continues, then we have the problem that there is no link anymore between the stress brain and our prefrontal cortex. So this link stops. And when this link stops, our brain does not or loses the ability to see nuances, put things in perspective, learn from previous experiences, coordinate activities, and is not able anymore to come to a solution. And last but definitely not least, we don't have the ability anymore to keep our emotions under control. So this is what I want to show you in the difference between a healthy stress response and unhealthy stress. So what is the link now actually between this explanation and resilience? What is the link between stress and resilience? Well, resilience is actually the ability to recover after facing a problem or a stressor, or even more, become stronger and better after recovering. So when facing a stressor, you go a little bit beyond your comfort zone, you stretch a little bit your competences, and at the same time you are learning from this experience. As such, you enlarge your comfort zone, and it is at that place that we start learning. So in fact, you can say that you can't grow without any stress, because if you would face a similar stressor in the future, you would be better prepared because you learned from this previous experience. Even more, I could say that without stress, there is no innovation, no progress, no self-awareness, no self-development, and also no resilience. The only question, of course, that we need to ask ourselves is how will we be able to manage our stress?